Yes, you are right. International experience will be important because 7 of the 12 players on Team USA roster are making their World Cup debuts. In the qualifying tournament, Caitlin Clark was the qualifying tournament MVP, so they might make their debut, but they could also be the MVP.
It's interesting because of the calendar itself. Like, you may be making your World Cup debut, but you may have already been an Olympian.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. We are officially worldwide. The world of women's basketball is coming to Berlin, and Team USA is bringing all the stars to the global stage. Can the next generation of Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, Angel Reese help carry the torch of USA basketball, the dynasty, and after nearly 2 decades without a World Cup loss, which country poses the biggest threat? Plus, how could the battle for gold reshape the WNBA title race back home? The road to a 5th straight World Cup title starts right now. Welcome to Chiney Today, the official preview of the 2026 FIBA World Cup. Let's go to work. I don't know about you, J-Jo, but I am so excited because it's been summer, even though kids are back to school. And one sweet spot that I've been looking forward to is this World Cup break during the WNBA season. And that's part of the reason why there were so many games in such a short amount of time, because they were understanding of the fact that a number of the top stars throughout the WNBA, not just USA, but the international competitors, are going to play in the FIBA World Cup. How excited have you been? Because this increased parity, the high level of competition, rolling from the last Olympics to now, I feel like this is going to be an epic tournament.
Oh, absolutely. I'm ecstatic to see what these players are able to do for their national teams. We've seen it time and time again. Certain players in the W, they're at one level. Then they put on their national team's uniform and they become a whole different player. So I'm very excited to see what this tournament is going to have for us.
One of those perfect examples is Gabby Williams, because Gabby Williams, that girl for France.
Yes.
And then comes back to the U.S., now has her own team with the Golden State Valkyries, which has a number of French players as well, which is kind of cool. But let's talk about the historical context, because this is the USA's tournament in some ways, because they have dominated historically. They've won 11 of these titles, 11 of these crowns. Russia, Brazil, Australia have also been successful in World Cups dating back all the way to like the 1950s and 1960s and 70s. But the opening stage, for those who are wondering, will see 4 groups made up of 4 teams who will all play each other on a round-robin basis. Group A is Japan, España, Germany, and Mali. Group B, Hungary, Korea, Nigeria, and France. Group C, Belgium, Australia, Puerto Rico, Turkey. Group D is USA's group alongside the Czech Republic, Italy, and China. So the best of the best competing in the World Cup. The group winners will advance directly to the quarterfinals, which will take place on September 10th, with the teams finishing last in each group being eliminated. And the semifinals will take place the 12th, with the final and third place game happening on September 14th. So let's dive into the rosters, starting with Team USA. Team USA includes Aliyah Boston, Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark, Napheesa Collier, Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Ryan Howard, Kelsey Plum, Angel Reese, Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, and Jackie Young. Now, it's interesting because this really feels like the first iteration under Stu Bird, who is now, I believe, the director of USA Basketball on the women's side, the first iteration of the future. Because the last Olympics and all the international competitions have been synonymous with the point guards and the relationship and the 6 gold medals that Diana, was it 6?
6 of them things.
6 of them things, man. 6 of them things. Diana and Sue have been in some ways the face of USA basketball for so long, and just international competition GOAT status. But this is a whole new day. This is a whole new generation. Again, Aliyah Boston, Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, all the young players, even Ryan Howard, young players that competed, I believe, in Puerto Rico in some of the qualifiers. Now they're having an opportunity at the highest stage that is a precursor to the Olympics. USA should win. It doesn't matter who's out there. the level to which the All-Stars, these are all All-Stars, these are all players that are top dogs on their team. There's increased competition, but this is still a really great USA roster, one that is building for the future, JJo.
Absolutely. They are the standard when it comes to basketball across the globe. They have won basically every international tournament that you can think of. They are the 8-time, I'm going to say this again, the 8-time reigning gold medalists in the Olympics. And then you take that and translate it into FIBA, which is the midway point between the Olympics. And they've been able to have a major success in that regard. To your point, this roster is uniquely designed. We know what they have at the top end. They have, the best player in the world with A'ja Wilson, who is the reigning FIBA MVP. But they also have Breanna Stewart, who is a hallmark for USA basketball as well. Then you kind of get into that new tier of first-timers that you mentioned. You have Paige, you have Angel, you have Caitlin, Aliyah, Ryan, who was on the qualifying team in Puerto Rico. They're all now getting the call up to the senior national team. And that is such a prestigious honor to be able to not just represent your country, but play with the best of the best and understand that you are one of the 12. That is a different level of pressure that creates a higher standard for you as a player. And we've seen it where you go and play for your national team and you get a bump because you get to have that lock-in period with an A'ja that you might not have because you're just playing against her throughout the season. You are now picking Stewie's brain about how she operates and you're seeing how she works. You're getting a chance to be around such greatness. You have no choice but to raise your level. So that's what makes this so fun, especially with these newcomers.
Yeah, let's get into the schematics though, because this will be a new rotation, especially at the guard position at this level. I think these guards are all amazing. Again, looking at Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young. These are solid guards. And I like that they're all different. They all have a different flair to their game. Jackie off the wing is a scorer, but she's really morphed into a guard as well, averaging near 7 assists this year. Kelsey Plum has the requisite experience. Of course, Ryan Howard is one of the best two-way guards, leading the WNBA in steals, but also I think is leading the WNBA in made threes this season, right? Kalia Copper is excellent in transition. Caitlin Clark, man, is going to be just making popcorn moments. I know the international fan audience has been waiting for this for a long time. So I'm excited to see the world show up and be able to enjoy and see Caitlin do her thing. And then Paige Bueckers, of course, just a solid guard as well that can score from 3 levels. Like, she loves the mid-range. And she's also, one of those social media, got her fans going too. So it's a new generation. It's a new day. And those guards all bring something different to the table, which is exactly what you need. Now, the interesting thing is when it comes to winning time, what did we see in the last Olympics? A'ja, Stewie going to work. And A'ja and Stewie being there, they just to be able to have the luxury of having these MVPs that know how to win. That is the ultimate edge above all the competition. When it comes to the end of a possession and you need someone to get a rebound or to get a defensive stop. Can you imagine? Lord, we've seen it before, but it just still excites me. A'ja guarding someone one-on-one and then Stewie coming from the help side and then both of them pushing the rock in transition and then passing to each other. That is the ultimate cheat code. Now, my only question, Aliyah Boston is a good banger in the paint. Napheesa knows exactly what she's doing. She's efficient. She can play. You can play really big with Napheesa playing the 3. The same thing with Stewie playing the 3. And we've seen that in USA basketball and international basketball. The only thing that I keep an eye on as someone who has followed the game, and maybe because I played with her and people know her, Liz Cambage played for Team Australia, 6'8" bruiser. Han Shu is 6'10". The team used to, for a long time, have, a Brittany Griner or a Sylvia Fowles that were at least 6'6", and they were capable of banging with some of the game's biggest from other countries. But I'm not so concerned because the game is so positionless now. And the way that the league is going, like the only kind of big that you really need are like a Stewie or a Napheesa or an A'ja, like that hybrid big, and you can play small and you can run and gun and force them to play your style. Still, certain teams have some really tall players, and I just wonder if that will be. I mean, even we're gonna get to it with France and players that can dunk. I know there's some players on USA that can dunk too, but some players are a little different with it. Like we saw in the WNBA All-Star game.
Let me make one point on Team USA, and I think it's interesting that you brought up with the potential size that they may be lacking in certain spots. I think Coach Carol Lawson has a unique versatility with this roster, especially in the front court. Like you said, A'ja is the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in WNBA. Stewie is an all-defense candidate. Napheesa Collier is a former Defensive Player of the Year herself. And then you bring in Aliyah Boston to kind of be new to that mix. I think the size, while, they may be outmatched in terms of height by a couple of inches in certain matchups, I think the fact that you have the wave of those type of defenders will be able to kind of balance it out for sure.
I agree. I just know, as someone who has been in the pool, a lot of these coaches, they're strategizing on teams, and sometimes the only thing that gives them a little cause for pause is when I remember like being in the pool at the same time that Liz was in the W, like okay, how are we going to guard Australia and someone that physically imposing? So we'll see if that ever becomes an issue for Team USA. I don't foresee it happening because of the dominance and the positional skill set on both ends of the floor for the squad, but you never know, because there are other teams that are rising that have some different strengths as well, or, at least athletically will want to challenge Team USA. And one of those teams at the top of the list is France. So FIBA dropped their power rankings ahead of the World Cup in Germany 2026. France is listed at 2, Australia 3, España, Spain 4, Belgium 5. Then it goes China, Germany, Nigeria in the top 10. In the world, Nigeria. Okay, sorry. Sorry. I always hype for both of my cultures. Love USA's dominance, but also love that we have African representation. Then Italy, then Japan, rounding out the top 10. Let's dive into France, because France released their roster and they have 8 WNBA players on the roster. Some names that everyone is familiar with: Pauline Astier, as we've seen, and Maureen Johannes and the New York Liberty. There's Valerie Ayayi that we know, Carla Late, Layla Lacan, which is fascinating that these names are like now really having breakout seasons in the WNBA. Janelle Salon that we've seen for the Golden State Valkyries. The list is long and deep. Dominique, Malonga, Dom, who's an all-star, the 3rd youngest all-star ever, and of course, headlined by the one, Gabby Williams. So France is on the rise, and it's not just the women, it's also the men. Because the way that a lot of people came to discover Dominique Malonga was people were saying, oh, she's like the female, and I hate making comparisons, but this is what people were saying based off the skill set and the potential, Victor Wembanyama, both hailing from France, of heritage, and to be able to see France continue to take step forward, like, as great as it is to see USA dominate time and time again, you do want an adversary. You remember what it was like watching that gold medal game in the Olympics on the men's side? Like, you want an adversary, and it seems like France is that squad, J-Jo.
Absolutely. It was hoop nirvana, just going back and knowing that was the lasting image of the 2024 Olympic Games, where you see Stewie pointing at the line because Gabby Williams had a toe on the line that would have forced the game to overtime. And that was the last event of those Olympic Games. And you just see how close that game was. And you brought it up. Gabby Williams is leading the way for France, but she's not alone. And I think they have a lot of unique talents where Gabby Williams is an awesome two-way player, great in transition, has upped her production as a one-on-one scorer this year in the WNBA, became an all-star starter. Dominique Malonga, to your point, she's dunking. And I know everybody wants to headline with that, but she's had so much more in her game in year 2, where she's banging on the glass. She is a defensive vortex as well. We know that she's long, being 6'6", and she's sprinkling in the three-pointer. Her touch is nice around the basket. just so many different aspects of her game have improved. Then you move on to somebody like Janelle Salon, who is an incredibly tough shot maker. It feels like her best attribute is that she shoots better when her shots are contested. And that is a level of focus that you need to have. And it's skill work and it's innate to her. And those things become very, very difficult to deal with when you get into late game situations where you're like, okay, I'm going to play the best defense I can. I'm going to get a great contest, and I'm going to contest to the right side that I'm supposed to. And it doesn't matter because Janelle is so comfortable at taking those shots. Those are things that kind of can pop up easily, and they can really have you have a really bad day. So when I look at that France team, you talked about Layla Lacan and Carla Late, who both have emerged in their own right as guards in the WNBA, who are extremely talented. So they certainly can present problems for teams, including the United States. And I think that's where, when you just look at that matchup in particular, wherever that may fall, it could come down to international experience with the backcourt. So that is something to definitely look at.
Ooh, yes, you are right. International experience will be important because I believe 7 of the 12 players on Team USA roster are making their World Cup debuts. So this will be the first time that they are on this stage. And it's important to also note that in the qualifying tournament, Caitlin Clark was the qualifying tournament MVP. So they might make their debut, but they could also be the MVP. That's how good.
That's exactly how it works. It's interesting because of the calendar itself. Like, you may be making your World Cup debut, but you may have already been an Olympian. So as long as you have some of that experience, that is something that you can lean on and draw from. But then you're just going to look back at your vets. You have A'ja Wilson, you have Breanna Stewart, you have Chelsea Gray, the point guard, who has been through everything. Your former teammate, who knows how to facilitate and win in those moments. So I am very curious to see what that matchup looks like, because you do see France's guards skew a little younger than the United States when it comes to potential starting lineups. So it's interesting.
J-Jo, do you think that we will get a FIBA World Cup tournament dunk from Dom Malonga? I think she'll want to send a message. She'll want to send a message. We're still awaiting the W dunk. We saw it at All-Star. But Dom Malonga is going to be probably the most watched in this narrative of can France do it, because everyone saw what Gabby was doing with her versatility. It was a precursor of what we're seeing with the Golden State Valkyries, her having a career year. Everyone knew that Dom was going to be, when she was selected to Seattle, everyone's like, oh, it's just a matter of time. She's young. She's so young. Those things will connect. We've seen 30-point games from Dom. We've seen an all-star level year from Dominique Malonga already. And so now at the international stage, I think a lot of people know that they will need to find success here in order to have the confidence to do it 2 years later in the Olympics in Los Angeles. And the stakes are high for Team USA because the USA is pursuing a 5th consecutive World Cup title, a 12th championship overall at this stage, its first World Cup title under Kara Lawson, and its first major roster win under the selection of Sue Bird. The US has not, like I said before, lost in this tournament since 2006. Do we think it'll happen? Probably not. But do we want a little bit of the sauce in this thing? Like, I think there will be a lot of sauce. Why? Because it's not just USA and France. There are a number of other teams that are going to have, top level representation. I want to also give love to Australia, who has Chloe Bibby, Ezzy Magabor, Jade Melbourne, Alana Smith, Steph Talbot. They're always a very difficult out. Australia has been fun, and they have when you think about teams that are consistent on the stage, Australia is definitely one of them, J-Jo.
100%. The Opals have, like you said, numerous WNBA players, and they have the experience of playing together on the international stage. And I think that bodes very well for them. So they're another team that, like you said, you don't want to sleep on them, because they will be able to make shots and they will be able to play defense.
Same with Spain. Alba Torrens, who, if you know, just one of the best international players ever. I remember when I was in Connecticut, everyone's like, oh, we've got her. She's probably going to come. She never came. I wanted to play with her. Maria Conde, Maite Cazorla, Awafam Thiam. Awafam being present in this tournament coming in off of the confidence of having a successful rookie campaign. Megan DeLeo, who formerly Gustafson. And so Spain will be fun to watch as well, especially with Awa Fam. She has been a bright spot for the Seattle Storm alongside Ezzy, alongside Flage. And so she is someone that understands this competition. You can see her game translate so easily. That shot goes up in the W without even thinking.
It is feathery. It's so feathery. Like, her touch is incredible. And I think her being in these moments is just going to continue to propel that growth arc for Seattle. Like, we've already named a few players from the Storm. Obviously, they haven't had the season they would like in the WNBA, but they're building something. And I know it's hard to look that far in the future, but they have a solid foundation with a lot of really talented players. And Awa is definitely at the top of that list, along with Dom and Ezzy.
Yes, and at the top of the list of don't look past this team, because somehow this team continues to know what to do on this stage and get some wins, especially in European competitions. Belgium, one of the hardest players that I've ever had to guard, that I wish had like a little bit more of a picturesque ending. We don't know what the situation per se is. With Emma Mieseman. Emma Mieseman owns that Belgium squad, and there's just something about their connectivity. Julie Van Loo, Julie Allemande. There's a number of players that we know on that squad. You cannot look past them. But, can I please give some love
you know.
to Nigeria?
There we go.
Because Nigeria is the most successful African nation to be on the stage in women's basketball. They have won not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 straight Afrobasket championships. And after making the quarterfinals in Paris, it put Nigerian African basketball on the map in such a big way. You have to shout out Coach Wakama, who's done an amazing job. You've seen her out Unrivaled. You've seen her in the WNBA coaching. And Nigeria punched their ticket thanks to being the 2025 Women's Afrobasket champion. They won that year after year, and they've always improved when it comes to Olympic competitions each and every cycle. I know the ladies. They're my friends. People are very familiar with the ambitions that my sisters and I had to play together representing Nigeria. My little sister, the baby sister, we say baby, but you know how that is, the youngest of us, who's Dr. Ogwumike, who's a doctor of dermatology. She was just in medical school. I think she was finishing up medical school when she competed for Nigeria and represented Nigeria at the Tokyo Olympics. She actually went viral. That's how she got like a little social media famous, because she took people. It was her and Alona Mayer who went viral by talking through the Olympic Village and all those things. But I really want to shout out Nigeria for always being so competitive despite the lack of resources that they have. They still find ways to show up and to show out despite the complications and the adverse situations for them to train and to compete. They find ways to represent. And that is that African spirit of determination that I'm so proud of. But also, you know, it's cool to be, you know, I tell people I'm fortunate to have the best of both worlds. I have the African hustle, nature, family ties, and that's the household I grew up in intimately. But I was blessed with American opportunities that allowed me to find the game and to go on this journey, no matter how imperfect it was for me when it comes to my international representation. It's great to see everyone win and everyone thrive with the opportunities they have. And so Nigeria being in the fold, as always, as earned, with the respect coming off of Coach Wakama being named coach of the Olympics, I'm excited to see what they do in the World Cup as well, alongside Mali, which is great as well. Mm-hmm. So it
definitely burgeoning.
You know, Adam Silver says, you know, he's made a huge push. Mark Tatum, deputy commissioner, they've pushed for it to be an international game. And this is the results of it, not just in the WNBA with the level of increased competition, but also in the NBA. The last how many MVPs have been international players. And that means that everyone has access to the game that we all love. And so that is a personal mission for me. And I am just so happy to see the representation, JJ.
100%. They've been a burgeoning nation when it comes to women's basketball, and they're on their rise. Like Nigeria in the 2024 games, to your point, they made their mark. They were able to really turn some heads, and they are coming. They are coming. And I think that is one of the most exciting things about the FIBA World Cup. All of these teams, all 16 of them that are competing, are all at different stages of their country's life cycle in terms of their roster construction, but they all have unique goals that they all can hit, and we get to see it play out in real time. So you get to match up against teams and kind of figure out, okay, this is an area where we have some growth. This is an area where we can look to improve. This is an area where we are better than we thought we were. And these are areas that we may have some questions about, but we never had a chance to test it against proper competition. That's what I love about this tournament. It's going to be hoops nirvana.
And it's not just what we love about this tournament. It's about the impact of the tournament on the rest of the WNBA season. And so, JJ, when we look at this break, where it's not a break for these players, the players that we mentioned that have made USA, it might impact specific teams. I'm looking at the Las Vegas Aces, who is A'ja Wilson, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, all probably going to get heavy minutes in this tournament, and then they're going to try to make a push. And they're, we don't know what the status is on all of their roster, if they're available when they get back. So that might impact them. And you can also look at the Indiana Fever being an interesting situation as well. Caitlin and, of course, Aliyah, but no Kelsey Mitchell. Now, Kelsey Mitchell, I think it's well known that she's in the pool. She just was not in this cycle, and that they prioritize those who have done the camps leading up to it and the competitions leading up to it, which you can see a lot of the Puerto Rico roster represented in opportunities here. But how will this, impact the Indiana Fever? I think it's, sometimes these can be blessings in disguise. You think of Olivia Miles resting for the final push while Napheesa Collier goes. So are you concerned about the Aces? They always find a way when it matters most. But
I find it to be very unique, because there are some, upsides and downsides depending on how you look at it. You're right. The Aces do have 3 players on Team USA, and we know they're going to probably play a considerable amount, but you can make the same case for the Fever, where they have a couple of players, like, say, Caitlin and Aliyah, who are slated to get some
Angel and Ryan.
Run. Angel and Ryan with Atlanta as well. But you can also look at it on the flip side, where somebody like Napheesa Collier, who missed a considerable amount of the season to start, is now going to get some minutes with Team USA and potentially get herself back in a rhythm.
She's been there.
I know. But what I'm saying is, like, she could kind of knock off that final bit of rust that is there in these competitions.
Get them lungs right.
Exactly. Just getting your win, because, the only thing that can get you in basketball shape is playing basketball. And that's the hardest thing that you have to go through. It could also be in those teams' favor, where their players are just in better condition when they get back. They may be a little bit fatigued because they've played, but everybody else may have to catch their second win to complete the rest of the WNBA season. And we're just in a full lather.
Either way, it's going to be popcorn. It's going to be cinema. Not only the FIBA World Cup 2026 in Berlin, but also the final stretch of the WNBA season. I want to know, so if you're listening and you're still with us, I want you guys to tell us who you think. Do you think that's a team not named USA, can win the World Cup? We're taking USA, but do you think someone could surprise Team USA in this World Cup? And our producers wanted us to try this too. JJ, how about this? If you're also listening and you're a real one, I want you to drop Spark in the comments. Drop Spark, okay?
Yeah, drop Spark.
We're here celebrating the home stretch of Big Sis's career, the Los Angeles Sparks. Drop Spark, and then I'll know you locked in with us. You part of the fam. You one of us. We appreciate you. Again, thank you so much for listening to our special edition of Chiney Today, where we preview the 2026 FIBA World Cup. It will be so much fun to watch these games. We got to get our time zones correct so we can stay locked in. So let's just all prep as a family, and make sure we can tap in at the right time. So let's get that group chat going so that we know that the games are going on, because we still have to support women's basketball despite this WNBA hiatus. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate, review, drop Spark in the comments. I'm your girl, Chiney Ogwumike. That's your bro, Jason Joseph. This is Chiney Today, the heartbeat of hoops, and we will see you next time.